All right, we are clearly live because I just saw several of you pop in. So, good morning, welcome to another Tarot and Tea. I am Safrianna Luna, just in case this is your first time stumbling across me. And I go live every Monday to pull some cards for the collective, and then to give you some personal tea or updates from what in the world is going on in my life. So let's drop in, starting with our tarot of this week. Now, before I even shuffle these cards, I just want to say we are having a very astrologically intense week. I'm not an astrology expert by any means, but go check out the experts. There are so many things happening this week. We are going Mercury retrograde today. We have a full moon today that I will be celebrating publicly tomorrow on YouTube. And we have things changing signs and transits happening, and it's just nuts. So take care of yourselves. Hi, Nicole. Good to see you. So whatever is going on in your life, one of the big themes that's been coming up is exhaustion. And many of us just feeling this pervasive sense of tiredness right now that we cannot shake. And apparently that is indicated in our astrology. So I just want to throw that out there. Oh, we got a stack, so let's retune back in here. What is our message this week as we're facing this full moon in Capricorn, this exhaustion, this Mercury retrograde? What do we collectively need to know? We have the Three of Wands reversed. So Three of Wands, let's look at it upright. He's standing, he's looking out over the landscape. What's he looking for? Is he looking towards some future goal? Is he looking towards where he would rather be? What is he seeking? What is he searching for? Reversed, we kind of get this lopsided image. He is very under the world, very removed in a way. And he is upside down. And I feel like that's how many of us are feeling right now, is this sort of pervasive, like, why is this not working? What is getting stuck? So the message here is that not every dream is meant to be born. Not every single idea needs to come to fruition. And we have just passed through the summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. And one of the big themes that was coming up for me with the summer solstice is the idea of life and death, of vibrance and grief, of all the things that we plant that do not sprout. I'll give some garden updates potentially in the tea portion, but there really is something about this season where we can get started and then there can be a stall or a straight up blockage that says, nope, that's not for you, for whatever reason. So if you have some goals in your life that feel like they have not been manifested yet, that's kind of what this is indicating, and that's where we're sitting, and that's really uncomfortable. And in the Druidcraft Tarot that I'm pulling from, one of the messages I want to read to you directly here is, remember the law of threefold return, and ask yourself if the dream or project would really have been for the greatest good. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. Sometimes in a disappointment lies the seed of hope, and the death of a dream allows a new one to be born. Decline this phone call. I hope it didn't disturb any of you. So what have you been sitting on that's just not working, no matter how much you try to make it work? And is it time to move on from that path and focus on something else? That's another thing with this full moon in Capricorn. It's really asking us to sit down and reassess our goals, to really look at things honestly, and to let go of what we're dragging along that is making us exhausted. That is a big message that's been coming through. And so is it time to release something? You know, I know that this is an uncomfortable message, but you know, upright, it's confidence, it's the realization of goals. Reversed, it's like something's not working, and why? Is it really that it's just not for you, or is there something more to it? So let's get some more context here from our other cards. I'm going to go in with the energy activation. So Recently, if you've been joining me for these, we have a new deck that has layered in as a weekly pull, and that is the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. And this is really to help us have an energy to focus on. And I love what I just pulled. So our energy activation is passion. And what better thing to look at than what we actually are passionate about, right? The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. So going back to our Three of Wands here, this is really saying, like, with this context, you've been pushing for something that maybe you're not actually very passionate about, and that is part of why it's not working out for you. So where are your passions? Where are the things that really drive you forward that you can't imagine your life without? That when you imagine giving it up or letting it go, even if it's not working out right now, it's like devastating. Versus the thing when you think of giving up, you're like, oh my God, thank God, I would love to put that down. That is so not mine. So what are your passions? And how is that informing you of how to move forward rather than chasing something that's really just, it's not going to work out for you because it's probably not even your dream. That is what I'm hearing with this. So the Oracle deck that leapt out to me this morning is the Starseed Oracle. And I'm going to pull our 3 Oracle cards from this today just to see, like, when we stop chasing what isn't ours, when we stand in the truth of our passion, when we stop exhausting ourselves on what is not actually for us, what is possible? All right. Our first card is Lost Lands. This is about really remembering soul memories and gifts. You have done this before. So immediately what just intuitively came in was go back to the time when you were a child. Back before the programming really started to hit, back before school taught you what you were supposed to know and your parents told you what you were supposed to be and society told you how to get there. What was inherently true for you? What is true to your soul? What is true to that deepest, youngest part of you? You've done it before. And you've probably done it before in prior lives, if you believe in that. But in this life, back before the life you are in right now as an adult, what was true for you? What do you need to remember about who you came here to be? Soul memories and gifts are coming back. We just have to let ourselves listen. Our next message is surrender to the sweetness. Venus energy. This is all about pleasure, joy, and making love to life. So, no surprise, as we rekindle our passion and we connect with really what lights our spark up instead of chasing these dreams, these goals, these metrics that might not even be ours. When we stop chasing those things, we can really lean into the sweetness of life. If you know me, you know I'm all about pleasure activism. I think that that is the way. That is the way to a better future for us all, is each and every one of us embracing our joy and our pleasure and our passion, not trying to fit into the dominant system, not trying to do it their way, but trying to do it our way, allowing ourselves to do it our way, not even trying, but allowing ourselves to do it our way. So the sweetness of life is here, and we can surrender to that sweetness when we accept what is really true for us instead of chasing these sort of outdated things. And finally, love this one as a message for us when we're like on this cusp of relooking at our dreams, relooking at our goals, is to trust the timing. Trust the wave that you came in on. Time is not running out. So my friends, if you're feeling like oh, but I can't stop this over here and pursue something else. I can't put this down. I've been carrying it for so long. I can't stop this. I've already put so much time in, and if I don't continue this, time's going to run out on me. Full stop. The message is very clear here. Time's not running out, especially not for your actual dreams and goals. So it's simply that mindset shift of allowing yourself to actually prioritize what is real for you, what's true for you, what your true goals are. I cannot wait to talk about this in the tea because, gosh, I'm seeing some themes. So let's just go ahead and recap our messages here. Whew. And again, reminder, very astrologically intense week. You're welcome to come join me tomorrow on YouTube for the full moon in Capricorn ceremony. It is today, but all of these transitions are happening today. And I read that in the astrology, it actually makes sense why we have the ceremony scheduled for tomorrow. Today is supposed to be cracking open your nut to reveal the fruit within. Tomorrow is supposed to be when we really start to be able to stand in that new bloom. So that's what we will be focusing on tomorrow. But as we stand on this, in the midst of these transitions, on this full moon, Mercury retrograde, all the things happening, here is our recap for the week. So the Three of Wands reversed, which is really just asking us, is that dream really yours? Do you want to keep pursuing that? Why isn't it working out? Take another look at that. Is it because it's not really yours? Is it because it's not really meant to be yours at this point in time? Is it because there's something you're not seeing that you need to look at? Whatever it is, something does not feel like it's working out right now. And that is a reason to pause and look and really reflect on what is happening there. And a big part of it is really stepping into our passion. Our energy activation this week was passion, the frequency of moving out of chaos and into creativity, of really listening to what we are being drawn to, what our soul is being pulled to, etc. And the more that we embrace our passion, the more that we can get really clear on what our actual dreams are. And as we activate these energies, as we release what is not ours, we have some beautiful oracle messages. We have the lost lands, which is really reminding us to go back in time, back to when we were young, or maybe even into a prior life, but to look at those soul memories and gifts that we've forgotten, that we've set down, maybe those passions we came in with that we overrode because society, etc. Those are the lost gifts that we can reclaim. We are being asked to surrender to the sweetness, to make love to life, to have joy and pleasure and passion, right? So this is the invitation to get really curious about what that looks like for you, what lights you up, what you enjoy, and to let that inform that passion and those dreams as you relook at things. And then finally, last but not least, we have trust the timing. Remember that even if you're pivoting, wherever you're at in life right now, if you choose to pivot in some way, you are not running out of time. You will have time to do what is yours to do. So trust that and stop wasting your time doing what is not yours to do. Because that's how we lose our self-trust, is by continuing to choose what's not for us because someone else wants it to be for us. Someone else has told us it should be for us, etc. So let it go, my friends. That is our tarot messages and oracle messages for the week. As always, if you come back here when the replay is reposted, you'll also be able to see pictures of the cards. So feel free to check those out. The tea. First this morning, I'm drinking cherry rose green tea from the local tea shop that I like to go to. And if you did not see this last week, my beautiful brand mug from Barb of Infinity Brand Design, she sent this to me. She designed my logo and brand and website. And I just love all of it. So I can't sing her praises enough. But, oh gosh, I felt terribly called out during that that reading right there. You know, if you have been following along with my story, and just to recap, I was a public school teacher, then I became a therapist, and I went through many stages of being a therapist. I am still a therapist, but I transitioned also into transformational mentoring and coaching and guidance work also in late 2023, early 2024. And I took a hiatus from therapy, and I came back to therapy in early 2025, reopened my practice, and it has been crickets. I've had 2 or 3 little crickets in the room with me, but it's been not much at all. And so I can't help but laugh because I had all the resistance in the world to reopening my therapy practice because I had a lot of burnout in the therapy world, especially being on insurance panels and having to see somewhere between sometimes 26 and 40 clients a week. I was so burnt out, and I still continue to feel the residual echoes of that. This deeper exhaustion we're talking about, certainly, this deeper exhaustion for me goes way back to 2023, and working as a therapist before that. So here I am, very much knowing my passion is writing, very much knowing that my desire is to be a successful published author and to put my writing out there in the world and to talk about my writing and to do book tours and book clubs and writing retreats. I'm so, as I think more about doing retreats in the future, I want to do writing retreats. I want to do creative retreats where we gather and we create together and we make a pressure cooker of just potent Awen, which is the creative force in Druidry. I know this is my passion, and people always remark how much more I light up and my energy comes out when I talk about writing and being an author versus when I talk about being a therapist. So here I am in the midst of all of these life transitions, right? I'm in the middle of a divorce and splitting business and all of this, and like starting from zero practically for myself with my little 1 to 3 crickets in the room. And one just canceled for the whole month of July because they got a really good work opportunity, which I'm really excited for them. But I'm like, okay, there goes one of my 2 clients that I have right now as a therapist for a whole month, which means I have more time to write. And then I pulled these cards this morning and I'm like, because I literally was asking this question the other day, why is it not working the way that it is? Like, I used to be so booked as a therapist that I burnt out, right? So overloaded with clients that I was doing great work to the point where I knew I had to stop and retire or I would stop doing great work. So I feel like the universe is really like, hey, maybe really take to heart that we want you to fill more of your time with your writing because that's your passion. And that dream isn't working out because I'm not putting the energy into it. Like, that's obvious. But the therapy dream, quote unquote, isn't really my dream. It's what I know I can do to make ends meet. But I'm also not making ends meet with it. But I'm certainly putting in the time and the effort and the energy and the striving. And so this message today really stood out to me like, hey, if it's not working, why? So that's where I'm at with that. And it's just such an interesting, speak of pressure cooker moment for me to be in, to really practice leaning in. How much can I lean in to the universe's support? How much can I actually open myself to the opportunities presenting themselves to me versus how much will I continue to be in resistance and fight against the circumstances that I'm in to try and control the outcome or make them different. So yeah, lots to think about. But on that note, July is looking more open. I am probably going to put my podcast on just a brief hiatus for a month or 2 in terms of recording. I'm recording a podcast today. I'll be live at 2 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel today to do a solo podcast on who the binary actually serves, talking about non-binary identity, trans identity, and gender in general, and this culture war we find ourselves in right now where trans people are so under attack, especially here in the United States, as our literal scapegoat. So I'll be talking about that today. And I ironically enough, I just had an influx of probably 25 guests wanting to be on the show, and that just made me go, ooh, we need a pause, because I need some time, some very clear, uninterrupted time to work on my writing. And on that note, like, I just don't know what is going on with IngramSpark. This is the Wincing Sorrow. If you have not seen this before, soon I'm going to talk so much more about it. We are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of it being published this week. Literally this week. And I still have not gotten my copy from IngramSpark that I ordered on my birthday at the beginning of the month. So I'm a little bit beside myself trying to figure out. I know that this is a part of my own astrological chart. I'll wait for perfect conditions to move forward. And so I have been waiting for the perfect condition of receiving my damn proof copy and being able to look at it and make sure it looks okay before I start to share the book again. But I literally don't know when I'm going to get this book, because it's been sitting in the warehouse with a label created now for 3 weeks. And we paid for the extra shipping cost to ensure that we would receive the book. Again, it's been over 3 weeks, almost 4. So I got to figure out what to do even when there are these delays happening, because that's a company issue, not a me issue. But I'm letting it impact how I'm moving forward. So I got to stop letting it impact how I'm moving forward. And that's the truth. But on the writing note, I actually have a whole selection of poems I'm going to look through here in the coming weeks that I actually wrote back during Imulg season this year, and a bunch of other poems that have come through, like the poem I wrote for Take Back the Night, which is a Survivor Speakers event, and just a bunch of other things that have been percolating that I want to put in a 3rd edition of a woman's work. When I wrote the 2nd edition, just for reference, here's the 1st edition and here's the 2nd edition. And the 2nd edition added more essays and more personal perspectives. And I wrote the bonus essays actually right after the inauguration of 47. So I had a lot to say then that has unfortunately come even more true in my predictions. So I want to write a 3rd edition that kind of goes even deeper into the impact of a lot of the things that have happened in this last year and a half for women, for children, for survivors of all kinds, especially around the Epstein files and that academy group online and things like that. So there's so much that continues to percolate for me that I'm meant to write, whether it's more poetry books. I had a very vivid dream probably about a year ago now that I was going to write 6 poetry books. We've got 2. I have a 3rd that is probably 50% done or more, depending on what I decide eventually that I do want to put in there. But I just got to actually prioritize that time for writing. So here I am, universe, people out there, please help me figure out how I can make writing a full-time thing so that I can actually pay my bills and live my life, but be in my passions, because that's what I'm here to help other people do. So thank you, universe. We're going to figure it out one way or another. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep doing what I do and cheering other people on and showing up. And it is the 29th today. So I will just say, if you want to sneak in that pay what you can month, it was my birthday month celebration with me, to do an hour-long session or a 90-minute reawakening with me, today or tomorrow is the day. All you got to do is send me a DM. I will also have the link here in the replay. But that deal is only good through the 30th. And then afterwards, it goes back to, if you want a financial arrangement that's different than my normal prices, you have to schedule a 15-minute consult with me so we can chitty chat about it and see what we can make work. I have had the spaciousness in my schedule to offer this, but as soon as I offered it and got a couple people in, and then was also looking at what was happening with the offer, that very clear download came in too of, hey, look at this free time you're supposed to be writing. So that's where we're at. And as I go into July, I'm not going to try to focus on supporting others directly as much unless they come to me, in which case I'm glad to support. You know, the therapy world is not necessarily my thing anymore, but being a transformational mentor and guide really is, because I get to be actually in my full unicorn magic and show up fully as me. So that excites me, and I'd like to do more of that too. But certainly more writing. Other than that, I think I don't have any other major life updates. This week I am supposed to get together in person with my dear friend Dr. Melissa Bird, so hopefully I'll have some fun things to share with you on the other side of that. Otherwise, come over and join me on YouTube tomorrow for our full moon. Come join me on Heartbeat if you want to be a part of new moon ceremonies moving forward. And if you just want to be in my community where we share pictures of nature and crafts and poetry and what we are noticing in life. I think it's a beautiful community. So I'd love to have you there. So I think that's all for now, my friends. Until next time. Know that I see you, I believe in you, and I'm cheering you on. And if you're tired, you're not alone. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you back here next time. Bye for now.